We're going to look at a woman who believes that she can channel ascended masters, including but not limited to Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and Shira 7, who, if you're not familiar with her, just take a moment and like thank whatever kind of like god or ancestor that you believe is blessing or gracing your life. Not only does she believe that she can speak through these ascended channels guides, but she believes that these guides are telling them that she needs to take men's money. I'll start by showing you how I discovered this woman's channel. It's going to be a little bit cringe because I'm going to go ahead and show you a video of myself with me watching it, but this was just my original reaction. It's 1 minute and 45 seconds to the first video I ever saw of this woman, and I just couldn't stop thinking about it. So if you've already seen this, feel free to just like take a potty break for a minute or two, but this is the video. My first exposure to Crystal Channel.
Always unattractive. It's always the unattractive. Because he doesn't like himself. If you don't feel good about yourself, then you are not nice to others. And men are the worst at it because they don't even have the self-awareness to realize that. Women who may be struggling with, self-esteem issues, we're aware of it, but we smile at other people, we're kind to other people. We don't project our self-hatred onto other people.
So basically, Delulu is the Salulu?
That is what many of these women would like to advocate for. As you can tell, Cat Tax is back. Cat Tax. Right, because women are never mean.
Don't even talk to them. I'm sorry I have to do that. But I have to scan the room, see an unattractive man, and just be a snob. That's why we're snobs to you.
Yeah, we're not going to finish the video. That was more. Caption reads, I am done giving unattractive men the time of day. They have a lot of healing to do. They are the rudest and always turn out to be the most bad. Okay, if ugly men are so bad, why haven't things worked out for you with the hot guys? She actually did give me a response to this question. She says, because all men are the same, Lauren, with your lower conscious BS. Yes, believing that men are different from each other is very low-level id thinking, but knowing that they are all exactly the same, that's that high-level super ego talking. I say this a lot, but if someone is mean to you, it's not worse because they're ugly. Being mean is not a hot guy privilege. And while it's true that the meaner someone is to you, the more unattractive they appear to you, there is no data that shows that unattractive people are inherently meaner than attractive people, just like there is no data that shows that unattractive women don't project their insecurities on other people. At the end of the day, you have to seriously ask yourself if the reason you're single late into your 40s is because men are too ugly or because your personality. So sorry to be cringe and have you watch me while watching me, but like I was saying, that was my initial reaction to this woman. So I was like, I just couldn't stop thinking about it. You know, I was like, man, that was such a bad take, which I obviously reacted to, you know, some people agreed. I was like, I have to go back to that profile, especially because she responded, and the response was like very unsatisfactory, you know? And of course, me asking the question of, well, if unattractive men are the problem, why hasn't it worked out with hot men? Of course I was being a little antagonistic, I must admit. But I was hoping to get some kind of a valid bite back. But no, I guess I don't know why I was expecting that. Because all men are bad. Okay, then why are we only focusing on the ugly ones? And so I somehow just knew that this person would have more bad content. And needless to say, I was correct. And like, here's the thing, it's perfectly fine to be single. Being single, not problematic. You do not need a partner to give you value, to give you definition or character, or give you a right to have an opinion on things. You can do everything alone, of course. However, it is a problem when you're single and you blame ugly people for being single. What we are about to see is some of the most radical and unhinged, basically like a worst case scenario for when you listen to way too much women empowerment, influencer media bullshit. but please do not have your takeaway from this be, so this is what women are becoming, like some of us, right? Like, there's a lot of unhinged dudes out there, but like, another thing I always say on my channel is like, please do not assume every man you meet is an unhinged psychopath who's trying to gaslight, manipulate, and abuse you. Like, please give a little bit more benefit of the doubt here, okay?
Guys, what are you doing in the gym? But besides getting muscles to bench press women, like, you know, in a nice way, in a fun way, that's what those muscles are for, right? Just really confused because when I walk past a gym, I'm like, look at all the muscles they're getting for me. That's what they're in there for. They're getting all the muscles for me. Because you're not in there to like impress other dudes. You're not trying to get muscles.
Forgot that was the takeaway from this. I remembered her having this weird video about why guys get muscles. I forgot that it was a self-centered delusion that the only reason that men obtain muscles is to not figuratively pick up women, but to physically bench press women. It is only to impress women. I don't think that some people remember for some reason, like even though they live their whole lives using the same muscles and muscle groups and fibers as the rest of us, they like forget how important consistently using your body is for like your being able to do anything that you want to do outside of women.
To impress the guys, right? They're surely not checking out each other's calves in there. They're not in there for health purposes.
Men aren't in the gym for health purposes.
You get ginormous muscles. Come home. You sit at a desk job. You don't need those muscles for your desk job. So what else are they for? What could they possibly be other than for the ladies? This is 115. You go in there, do 260 so you can clear this easy when the time comes. But then when the time does come and we're in the kitchen making pancakes, you say things like,
where is this going?
Put down. Bench press this. The chiropractors say, I'm going to throw you around a little bit. And I said, that's what those muscles are for. And if you don't bench press this and you say things like scoot, you're going to make fun of your calves.
She can't fathom what men could possibly do with their bodies, times, minds, energy outside of touching women. What?
Oh, I know your weak spot. And I'm sorry, no, the ladies are not supposed to do anything. Nothing. That's the ways of the nature. That's the ways of the forest. We don't do anything. Okay? You're the wild beast animal. I am lovely.
This is where, though, we're having an intellectual consistency failure. If you want to have the traditional role where the man is like the sole breadwinner, he does the hard jobs, the manual labor. Throughout that whole time, the expectation was still then that you would be the homemaker or the one in charge of homesteading, which of course is not nothing. That it's not nothing. And what's really interesting is just the overcorrection here, because I think that we can all acknowledge that it's really, really, really difficult to provide income for an entire family. And it's really, 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 really difficult to have the expectations of upkeeping an entire homestead, an entire home where multiple people are living all on your own is super, super challenging. And so it's understandable why both sides have tried to work to find some kind of modicum of peace,
knowledge,
somewhere in between. For example, you know, men are finding ways to work less, be involved in the home more, because God knows it sucks being away from the home too. It's absolutely heartbreaking knowing that you're missing out on all these critical memories just so that you can provide. And women deserve some additional support to where they are not the only ones taking care of everything, because oh my gosh, can that absolutely destroy you from the inside out. She is responding to a comment where someone points out that she has Cash App in her bio.
Ooh, somebody's got a new boyfriend. Somebody's got a new boyfriend. It's me. Thank you for the 100 to my new boyfriend. Listen, ladies. We're dating a little differently now that we got AI helping us out. Here's what you do. You make a quick little video. Hi, my name's Crystal. I like kitty cats and nails. And then you see which man likes to send you gifts and presents. And then we talk only to the men who send us gifts and presents. And look what you get. Woo! Ching ching! Choo choo! Bucks.
Ching
My
ching.
nails done. That makes me so happy. I'm not gonna lie. It also puts a little tingle in my dingle. Like, let's go, ladies. Only talk to the men who send you gifts.
There's a lot to unpack here. And we'll finish the video. But before I somehow lose these last couple of thoughts, it costs you $100 to get your nails done. Whew, okay, I'm not going to pretend that I'm not a girl and I don't at all know the prices of a mani-pedi. I do know that if you get a manicure and a pedicure and you use the special hard gel and you get a design and you tip, it could clear $100. It could. And that is why I don't get my nails done. Better things to invest in my opinion, especially because these nails, that only last like 2 weeks before you start getting like the big long gap in between. It drives me crazy. I shouldn't be hating on nails. They are very, very, very cute. I will say that. I love nails. I love the sound they make when you... it's so satisfying. But it is, someone gave you $100 and that is how you're choosing to use it. So yes, a man gave her $100 to her Cash App. He also did so using his LLC. Do you know how much advertisers pay these 100,000 follower TikTok accounts to post about their businesses? A lot more than $100 per post typically. What a freaking goofball that if he actually thinks that she has any sincerity when she says that receiving money puts a tingle in her dingle. First of all, I don't think women are supposed to have dingles. I would never refer to this kitty or the other kitty on this lap as a dingle. Okay? Have some self-respect. But no, receiving money does not turn women on. Does it make them perhaps more receptive to such endeavors? Historically, yes. But does it actually turn the sprinklers on? No. Come on, don't buy that. She's lying. Why are you lying to these men?
The generous ones, it's easy. Make a little video, say, hey, who wants my attention? Who wants to slide in these DMs? Anyways, thank you so much, Mohid.
What brilliant advice. Follow now if you're a woman and you want to learn that if you make a video saying, hey, I'm desperate for attention, slide in my DMs, you'll get responses. Who knew? What? That's crazy. I can't believe this. This is shocking.
O's. You're my new TikTok friend, and we can chat a little bit.
$100 and she's still a friend and they can chat. When you put yourself in a position where you are telling strangers on the internet that they can buy your attention, that you will value them more based around the dollars they give you, you will attract that subset of people who honestly believes that they are owed more from you based on what they give. Again, it's not your fault that they think that they're owed something. However, you can't say that you're not encouraging it when you are making videos telling these men, if you give me money, I will be more sexually attracted to you.
This is absolutely not a joke. This is the new way of dating. And also, this benefits you men, so listen up.
Oh, yeah?
Think about it. If women only pay attention to men who give her presents and cash gifts, that means you now have a way to get your foot in the door. You still have to win her heart. Don't get it twisted.
Men, look, hear me out. This benefits you. If women have a price tag, all you have to do is have a shit ton of money to buy out the highest bidder. Is anyone else failing to see how this benefits men?
And you're not her financial provider. She's got her stacks. Okay, women, you always get your own stacks. You always have your own stacks. They just add to it. It's like insurance for a man not wasting your time. Now, men, you go to work. You work hard. You zero fat. You don't screw around with women you don't really like anymore. Because they won't pay attention to you. There's a man for every woman out there.
It's like how there's a broken clock is still right twice a day. Like, there's been a lot of weird advice that she's just kind of sprinkled in here, pun intended. Like, the no fap thing came out of nowhere, didn't it? That was like left field. Didn't even go into that or entertain it. It was like, don't touch yourself. Anyway, also give me money. But in there, I would agree, don't talk to people who don't like you. Of course, that's good advice.
And when you do find the one that you really like, you go, oh, I like her. I really want to get to know her. I'm going to invest. I'm going to invest in the one I actually like. This is so efficient. This is so AI. This is the efficient way of dating.
This is the second time that she's mentioned artificial intelligence. I don't think she actually knows what AI means. Because to describe the idea of investing more into someone you like than into someone you into someone you don't like, that's not an artificial way of thinking. That's actually the super ego achievable by humankind when we listen to our conscience.
You see somebody, you don't got that cash, you're going to wait. You're going to go back to work. You're going to get your cash right.
That's the worst advice that I could ever say, honestly. Again, she's also not giving any advice for women to initiate. So essentially the only options that she has to work with are whoever is paying for her. So I guess that is one way to narrow it down. If you need a man who will only pay for you, then I guess you take the men who are paying for you and then you narrow it down between them. I'm getting a feeling of why we're in our 40s and we're still not figuring it out. But no, man, like, as much as I want to say, yeah, of course you should have your shit together before getting into a long-term relationship, you only have so many chances to shoot your shot. I'm a big advocate for shot shooting. I'm not gonna lie. If you see someone that is making you feel some type of way, don't be a pervert, don't be an a-hole, but like, there is nothing wrong with approaching someone and saying hi, trying to start a conversation. If you get rejected, you get rejected, and just accept that you're gonna get rejected sometimes. But man, does it ever feel so much better to be like, I shot my shot every time I saw a chance, than to, and got rejected, than to say, like, I will never know how that would have gone. You know what I'm saying? And like, you don't have to, like, obviously don't promise this woman a mansion and kids if you don't have your stuff fully together. But geez, like, start talking. Do you know how many people start off as friends who don't have their stuff together, and then years later, because they grown and stayed in touch, they get together? You know what I'm saying?
Right. That when you see her, you go, I'm going to get her attention. You're going to get flowers, cash gifts. But don't get it twisted. You still got to win her heart.
Ew. Cash gifts is so icky to me. It's not even jealousy that I feel when I see these girls bragging about, like, my husband just handing me a wad of cash, or like, this is the best, I have a man who just hands me cash. Like, I guess I wouldn't fully be complaining, but it's just not romantic. I guess it is. I guess it can be. If you're also being romantic in addition to that handing that person a wad of cash, then yes. But like, it's such a weirdo move to be like, hey, I'm interested in you. Can I give you $50? Like, no, because the implication.
Still gotta be good in here. But it's just a little insurance. It just lets the lady know this one's actually serious. Imagine living in a world of women where guys just go, how are we supposed to know? Or they just take us out on a fancy meal. That's easy. It's too easy to take us to a fancy meal. You need to show us you're serious.
All right. So, coffee dates? No. Cheesecake Factory and chain restaurants? No. Fancy dinner at all? No. You show up with money. This is the new way of dating. Ma'am, you have just described the oldest way of dating known to man. You have just discovered the oldest profession, my friend. We're reinventing the wheel here, miss.
About getting to know us. So this is beneficial for everyone and women. It's called Sprinkle AI dating. Jump on board now or get left behind. And if you don't got that cash, you shouldn't be dating.
I'll get left behind, thanks. The rest of us not jumping on that bus, y'all can fly out. I'm good. Actually. You enjoy your cats, though. I know I'm enjoying mine. Again, is now a great time to stress being single is fine. This next one, we're just gonna remove the sound as I kind of play this text overlay. But man, like, this is really what you got out there in the dating pool in your 40s, huh? Like, you know, 40's pretty young. Like, 40's the new 30, 30's the new 20. Like, again, like, you can be hot in 40 for sure. But it's just like, there's just, for some reason, when you're in your 40s and like laying in bed topless and making like really sassy TikToks, that like two types of men who send me cash gifts and live to spoil me, and broke men who only spend money to treat women like objects. And the caption, we don't listen to broke men, only sweet ones who are generous to us. I mean, I guess, like, I don't think she has kids, so I can't say, like, this is somebody's mother, but if I'm acting like this at 40, you guys have the right to, like, just take this and just, like, a Super No bottle, spray it directly, like, on my face. Because, do you guys ever actually see Sprinkle in the dating profiles too? I'm curious to know, like, how much, because the thing that these ascended masters tell the girlies is that you should be as transparent and forward with your expectations as possible, so as to not, like, beat around the bush. Like, tell these men, I expect you to be a provider, so that they know what's up. Rare but not that rare, my sister behaves like this. Siblings are already so annoying. Having this as your sibling, I've honestly never heard of Sprinkle until today. The girlies all know about it though. No, not all. Beautiful. Here's another way that she thinks that she's like flexing.
Oh yeah, TikTok boyfriends all day, every day, ladies. Sprinkle. If you don't have TikTok boyfriends, what are you doing with your life? This is how it goes. If you want to slide into these DMs, or you just like my face, or you're just a nice, generous man like him, Tyler, woo, choo-choo! Thank you, Merry Christmas!
She can't get the sounds right. The first time she said ching-ching, then she said choo-choo. This time I think she said ching-choo. She's like, I don't know if she's like trying to be racist at this point.
Anyways, this is the new way that we're doing it, ladies. Just ask generous men if they like your face, and if they say yes, you can say, if you feel like it, this is Cash App. I like cash gifts. Presents, and they just send them to you because there's lots of generous men out there.
She does not, to none of your surprise, follow up with any of these men. There is not a one of these men that she ends up going out on a date with, or showing any of their DMs. I don't know what these men are thinking. It doesn't surprise me though. I guess this is just like the world of orbiters. And I love that she's like trying to like put people onto this. Like, well, yeah, if you just like tell these guys that you'll call them your boyfriend, they'll surprisingly just give you money. And then she has the receipts to prove it. And I guess this is true, but at the expense of being highly cringe and embarrassing. Like, I don't know. Am I being judgmental? Should I just be happy for her that she's getting that back? In these cases, it's not like she's scamming anybody. It's not like she's being manipulative. She's leading men on, but that's not illegal. This is a little bit of Dumb and Dumber because obviously, men, you should know better than to just send women money in hopes of that tickling their pickle or whatever it is she wanted to say. That's not how it works, obviously. If it did work, we would see a little bit more follow through here. Caption says, "Do you want to be my TikTok boyfriend? Tyler is my favorite." Okay, so it sounds like no one has beat the 150 because Tyler's still number one. 2020, ladies, I made 450 from TikTok boyfriend this week. Make a video, find the generous men, sprinkle, sprinkle. $450 in a week is, like, not bad, especially as residual extra income. If that's the only way that you're making money, though, I would say that's pretty bad. I would say that's really not something that you could live off of. And you probably need to find something smarter. But also, you're getting $450, but what you're losing is being taken seriously. Because, like, one in the chat, if you would date a person who had this on their profile, you look up their TikTok, you go to see what they're about, and you see that this is how they spend their time. One in the chat if you would continue to date that girl, even if you were interested, or two in the chat if you would have to stop talking to them because this is such an unattractive thing to do. I can tell you, dude, if I had started talking to TJ, but then I discovered that he has the social media where he's like, ooh, these are all my girlfriends, and they're like girls who give him money, like, I don't know, man. That would be a little bit weird.
Married women are some of the most delusional, brainwashed people I've ever met in my entire life. First of all, they have no idea why they believe in marriage so much. They don't understand the history or the origins of patriarchy. They don't understand that marriage never was to benefit them, but to benefit the man. They don't even know that their grandmothers weren't even allowed to have bank accounts.
Yep. No idea why I got married. Every day I just wake up, I scratch my head and I go, how did I get here? I knew that there were financial restraints for women prior. I did know that. No one told me that the only way I could open a checking account is if I get married. Like, even if you were a woman who didn't know that there were limitations to women obtaining credit cards and things like that for a very long time. Even if you didn't know that, no one is telling women that that's the only way they get those things.
And they plan their whole big, huge, fancy weddings. They walk down the aisle. They throw a big party. And everybody's supposed to celebrate them like it's an accomplishment. That doesn't count as an accomplishment. Us standing around celebrating your obsession with another person is not a life accomplishment.
Hear me out. Controversial opinion. I think she might be a little bitter. A little bit. This is just like the women who never had children who are like, having a child is not an accomplishment. Having a child is not something you should be proud of. You just made a baby. Or like, the women who are like try to compare, like, I built my career, that takes way more work than making a baby. Like, it's the same level of bitter. Like, there's not many people hearing this who don't know what the real problem is. Finding someone in this cruel, cold world full of suffering who wants to commit to you. Like, how can you say that's not an accomplishment? Typically, the reason that you have a celebration where you invite so many people is because those were all individual people who knew you guys either apart together, or that's the only way they ever knew you, but they got to enjoy your union. When two people really love each other, it's something worth celebrating. Everybody loves that shit. Like, everybody wants to do that. Like, there's a reason we want to go to weddings. I love weddings. We love weddings. They're the best. Like, you get to eat a bunch of food and you get to watch two people who really love each other, like, party super hard. I cry every time. Why do I still cry at weddings every time? Because I'm not a bitter old hag. Come on, dude. This is so pathetic.
They point at their house and their husband's salaries as life accomplishments. That's not an accomplishment either.
Wait a minute. What in the lack of intellectual consistency is this? So it's an accomplishment for you to get $150 from Tyler on TikTok, but it's not an accomplishment for her to say, I married into a man who makes six figures. Like, how is it not an accomplishment to say that you married into a family where that six-figure income is also yours? But yeah, this doesn't make any sense. I also don't think that marrying a rich guy necessarily something you should be bragging about, but if you're going to brag about getting $150 from Tyler on TikTok, I think that you should not be complaining if someone else is bragging about the consistent salary that they are receiving annually from someone who has made a lifetime commitment to them.
Only until their husband passes away will they realize that they get to do things for the first time for themselves. Like not having to make dinner every night, because they never wanted to in the first place. Like going places they'd never been before, because their husbands wouldn't let them do it. Only then does it finally click. Oh, I've been oppressed my entire life, because I was married.
Well, you heard it here, folks. As soon as a man becomes a husband, he immediately, in every marriage, demands dinner every night and does not allow his wife to see anything new. It's never once been allowed, nor should it be. God forbid that that man does not be cooked for every single night. You guys in the chat, you all know what I'm talking about, right? You all demand dinner every single night from your wife, as much as you're like, no, you don't even look out the window because they just put up a new 7-Eleven down the street. You cannot see it. You're married now. That's a little bit of a dramatic way of thinking about marriage. Marriage only makes sense if you're brainwashed and don't know how to logically or critically think. Smiley face. Oh boy, that's next level cope, you guys. I've seen people cope with some harsh realities before. That is cope, denial, mixed in, slurping it down. Just yummy, yummy, yummy. I love that cope and denial. It's so yummy to me. Anyway, let's get into the final video of this shit show. Before we even watch it, I just want to read the caption to it. The caption reads, "One of my hobbies is making broke men cry, and I really enjoy it. If you don't like this heat, you need to get out of the kitchen, son. Some men can't handle the women who like the cash." She does have a really good, like, emotional bumper system. Do you know what I'm saying? Because she has really good protection in gear for anyone actually calling her out. For example, she kind of starts to already emotionally put up boundaries and protections on herself by saying, oh, if men don't like that I ask for money, they're just broke and can't handle it. They just can't handle me, that's all. It's not that you're a reasonable person who is acknowledging someone who's probably going to just use you. It's that you're a brokey who can't handle the game. Every red flag in the book on this one. Yeah, you just can't handle the heat. The heat. Also, I know that a lot of you have been thinking it. I'm finally just gonna say it. I'm finally gonna say something. It's a big rule on my channel that I don't like to come for people's physical appearance. I think it's really lazy. It's very ad hominem. It has very little to do with whatever the point is that's being made. Physical appearance is often unmutable, unchangeable without thousands of dollars of plastic surgery. And oftentimes there's a person who looks just like them who is not committing atrocious toxic behavior, so it's just not worth making fun of those physical appearance things. But again, if the end goal is simply to receive $450 a week from strangers on the internet, she's achieving the goal. So who am I to hate?
You think dating is a game, son? You think these eyelashes glue themselves on for free?
I'm sorry, I forgot that she brings up the eyelashes 6 seconds into this video, and that just makes it so much more ironic. The freeze frame that I chose here is also very iconic. It's the fact that she then uses the eyelashes as reason for why you should be investing more in her.
Do you think I left 2 marriages and a nice cozy in-law family taking me on trips to Europe because I want to settle down with the next broke man I see? I want those Europe trips again with a man who pays instead of his parents.
The bitter keeps slipping out. I keep seeing it like eke out a little bit. She left 2 marriages, one of which she misses major aspects of it. It's weird that she spent so much time describing that in marriages your husband doesn't let you leave and see new things, but then describes that in at least one of her marriages, she was going on exotic trips. And the only issue with those trips seemed to be that his parents were paying, not him, which I'm still failing to see the issue when you're still going on an exotic, luxurious trip for free. Maybe she'll explain it.
I want that house, but not a rented apartment, you know what I mean? These toenails can't paint themselves. And I'm your worst nightmare. I'm not an alpha woman. I'm Sigma, bitch. I'm Sigma, bitch. You gotta pay this. You gotta pay.
Imagine you're like getting out of the shopping center here and you just see this lady like circling around the parking lot, like talking to her phone like this, like, I'm your worst nightmare. I'm not alpha. I'm Sigma, bitch. Like, I'm just like, what are you doing? Where are you going? I think that this lady got Chad widowed too. Can I also say that? If you're not familiar with the term Chad widowed, let me just introduce you to one of my favorite terms that I learned in 2023. To be Chad widowed is when you're basically like widowed from a absolute Chad, and it is going to be very difficult for you now to move on and accept any standard below that.
See this. See the price. Being pretty ain't free. And dating ain't for chumps. Broke chumps. I eventually will become like Jesus, but right now I'm exercising my demons and I'm taking it out on the men. Y'all.
I'm eventually going to be like Jesus, but for now I'm going to hate all of the ones that he made in his image. Okay, that's a great way to get there. Also, how are you going to hate men and then worship a man? Figure that one out.
Started war. Why don't you get back to building your buildings, taking that hard-earned cash and putting it where it belongs, in my pretty little manicured hands.
That's another weird part of the like radical feminism structure that is like adjacent to Sprinkle Feminism, is there is a line of feminism. You could hear it when she said, go back to building your buildings, as if women don't use buildings, where they seem to believe that general infrastructure is toxic masculinity. Like, there is this pipeline of feminism where they think that men built skyscrapers for the sheer purpose of building as big of a phallic symbol as they could. Like, there are women who don't understand why time is being put into building bridges or irrigation systems instead of paying women to exist. You know, the kinds of women that you don't often see taking these very hardwired approaches of like, men are the problem, men are the problem, men are paychecks, is boy moms. Now, don't get me wrong. We know that boy moms can progress to their own special Super Saiyan levels of degeneracy. The ones that almost like incestualize their relationship with their son, those exist too. But a lot of women, especially when they become parents to boys, that's the first time in their life that they're taking a look at someone that they're now loving unconditionally and imagining other people using him for his wallet. A lot of these women, they cannot fathom the injustice until they have a son and they envision someone treating their son. It's the same with like how a lot of really toxic, shitty men don't realize how bad they're treating women until they have a daughter. It's kind of a wake-up call, but it shouldn't just take, you know, having a son to wake up to how this is obviously going to negatively affect all of us. This is obviously going to have negative impacts on us. This is an interesting comment. I've heard at least half a dozen therapists say they didn't understand men's issues until they had a son. I'm like, how are you a therapist and not know this stuff? That's just ridiculous to me. Yeah, like, so many women, and I agree that men and women cannot be 100% equal, right? The experiences of a man and the experiences of a woman, there's just at a baseline always going to be different things because of biology, because of chemistry, because of societal conditioning and historic precedents. Like, I get that, but at the same time, we're not so different. We're not so different to where when you treat him in a way that you would never want to be treated, that you shouldn't be able to recognize that that's not cool. There shouldn't be such a divide between how you view men and how you view women that you think it's okay to treat them so radically different from each other. That's crazy. The only way you should be treating men and women radically different is if you're treating their genitals for medical reasons or something like that, you know. But aside from that, you know, if you're younger and healthier, you hold the door open for that person, right? Like, you ask people how their day is, you consider them in your day-to-day life if you're close. That's not a man versus woman thing.